Hi, I chose inquiry and exploratory writing, which exploratory writing is a type of writing in which there's not really a specific end in mind. It has a lot to do with asking questions and then seeking out answers to those questions. So a lot of times what happens in exploratory writing is that you'll start over here with one question, and then as you dive into it, which is the inquiry portion of it, you come across even more questions, and so it leads you down other paths. So really, in essence, it's just more about an avenue for higher thinking and learning. And it's really important because a lot of times through your own writing you discover things that you didn't realize that you knew or understood so well, or other questions that you didn't realize that you had. And I chose this because I think that middle school is a crucial time for students to be asking questions and to be exploring these things that they're passionate about, and to just really ignite their creativity, and just allow the open-endedness that this exploratory writing is, because the freedom in writing is what makes it really enjoyable for students. So you all will be 6th grade language arts students, and we are right in the middle of a reading unit about discovering why and how the author develops characters and storylines and emotions and mood. So we're dealing a lot with the author right now. So in the previous lesson we would have been focusing on character development, and so in yesterday's lesson I would have had my students just make like a bulleted list or a table or something of describing how they would pick one specific character and then make a list of how the author developed that character, like specific things that he or she did to make that character who he or she is. And the objective is that students will be able to use their creativity along with their comprehension of the text to create hypothetical interviews with the authors of their books. So this drags in previous knowledge because they have to understand what they're talking about in order to know what to ask the author. So throughout this lesson I will be walking students through exploratory writing, the definitions of that, some examples, what that looks like, and then I'll be modeling it, which we will be doing creative author interviews, and then I will be allowing the students to practice. So with that, we can go ahead and start the lesson. Okay, class, so name some of your favorite explorers or adventurers. Christopher Columbus, yes. Lewis and Clark. Indiana Jones is even one, yes. Okay, and what do these people do? What's something they all have in common? Right, they explore things, they are searching for something, they are looking for something that might be lost or trying to discover something new. But these explorers don't always have to be looking for something specific in mind. Sometimes people just go out for the sake of adventure and they don't know what they're going to find. Now keep this example in your mind throughout the rest of this lesson, because what we are talking about is called exploratory writing. And exploratory writing is a type of writing in which you can literally just go explore, and keep that example in mind, because a lot of times we have questions and we can explore answers to those questions, or if you are researching something you can spend some time beforehand doing the exploratory part, which would be thinking about what it is that you might find instead of just jumping into research. So you guys will use this all throughout high school as you have to research different things. And this can also be used in your journals. You can just be writing down questions that you have and just free write, which may lead to even more questions that you have. And the inquiry part comes in as you find answers to those questions, whether that be research or just things that you've discovered that you have come across. Okay, so I want you to partner up and explain in your own words what exploratory writing is. Okay, so today we're going to do more of a fun activity, and I want you to get out your bulleted lists or tables or whatever from yesterday about your characters, and we are going to be taking those, and with those questions in mind, we are going to be creating creative interviews with the authors of our books. So what this will look like is I want you to start with a question that has to do with your character. So it might be why the author made this character say this, or what the author was thinking about whenever he created this character. And we're going to write out both sides of the conversation, actually, which means that you really have to put yourself in the author's shoes and understand what he or she was going for whenever they developed this character. So, I have been reading The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis, one of the Chronicles of Narnia. So I am going to go ahead and do my interview. So my character was Eustace, who was the bully of the boy that I've been talking about. So let's see. If I was going to interview C.S. Lewis, I would probably ask something simple to start off with to kind of break the ice. Why did you name him Eustace? Okay. So C.S. Lewis. Well, I would probably want to address him more professionally because he is older than me. So we'll put Mr. Lewis. Why did you name him Eustace? And remember our punctuation with conversations, so our quotations. Okay, and then he would probably say something like, he would probably tell me a story about a boy that he knew named Eustace. So, let's see. Well, there was a boy in my class who was very mean. He was the first one I thought of. I think that's what he would say. Well, he would probably leave it at that. Well, there was a boy in my class who was very mean. Okay. No, he would probably go on to explain more. He was the first person I thought of. So that makes me think that he probably wanted all of these bad things to happen, which the things that happened to Eustace in the story, because he didn't like this boy. So I would probably ask him something like that. So is that why all of those things happened to Eustace? All of those bad things. Well, I would want to impress C.S. Lewis. I would probably not say bad. I would probably say inconvenient. Inconvenient things happen to Eustace? Let's see. But C.S. Lewis was a really nice man, and he really loved God, and so I know that he had a purpose instead of just being mean, so he would probably explain to me that he had some deep purpose in mind. Okay, yeah, he was developing Eustace's character, giving him positive virtues. Okay, no, not only that. Ooh, he wanted to make things interesting for us. I wanted to make things interesting for the reader. What else would he say? I know he would have more to say. He had a lot to say. Okay. I also knew how Eustace would end up. So I wanted to build his character. So when C.S. Lewis said that he wanted to keep things interesting, that makes me want to question if that's why he allowed Eustace to turn into a dragon, because that seems pretty interesting to me. So that might be the next question I ask. But do you see how I'm going about, and one question is leading to another, which is leading to another? Essentially, I could do this all day with C.S. Lewis. I could ask him a ton of questions if he had the time. And this is exploratory writing because we are coming across new things. And this really is testing your previous knowledge because I have to think back to what's in the story and my comprehension of the story to know what to ask him and to understand. So now it will be your turn to create an author interview, and it can be with the author of a book that you're reading now, or even one of your favorite authors, because I can understand. And I want you guys to really get into the character and to really think about the questions that you're going to ask and how that might lead to new inquiry and how that might spark other conversations. And then tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these questions and we're going to write in paragraph form on it to explain how we understand the text and how kind of the why behind the author's development of this character. So these things are all going to tie in together. So just to recap, what was exploratory writing? Someone volunteer? Right, it is writing without a specific end in mind, to come across new paths of learning and discovery. Good, okay. So I want you guys to write out at least 3 questions, could be more if you want, and then we're going to exchange them with partners and look over them and give each other feedback. Thank you.